Why was Wang Lin able to intimidate Mo Lihai using only a counterfeit version of the Yiling Seal giant golden hand, yet still overwhelm him? In truth, once you understand the origins of the Yiling Seal on the immortal firmament continent, you'll immediately see just how overwhelmingly domineering this secret art truly is. And to obtain the authentic version, the true original copy, Wang Lin pushed his talent for trickery and deception to an absolute peak. The story begins when Wang Lin returned to the Black Armor Battalion and learned that 13 had been captured by a monster general. Determined, he chose to risk everything and confront the entire ancient monster city, charging straight into the palace of Mo Lihai, the monster general. That place was guarded by tens of thousands of monster soldiers. Breaking in was anything but easy. In this battle, Wang Lin held nothing back. He directly unleashed the demonizing finger, carving out a bloody path through the army. After that, he used the Finger of the Yellow Springs to suppress the 5 commanders, forcing Mo Lihai, who was in seclusion, to personally appear. This time, Mo Lihai demanded that Wang Lin withstand his technique 100 Waves of the Monster Sea before he would release 13. The power contained in this divine ability was far stronger than anything he had used previously. With Wang Lin's cultivation only at the soul transformation stage at the time, it was extremely difficult to endure the full force of the attack. Wang Lin relied on the Golden Talisman Forbidden Talisman to withstand 30 waves. Afterwards, he declared that if he released his final killing strike, the monster general would certainly die. Mo Lihai naturally did not believe such witchcraft and took the initiative to withdraw. The 100 Waves of the Monster Sea, wanting to see whether Wang Lin's so-called final move was real or just empty boasting. In reality, this was the first time since stepping onto the cultivation path that Wang Lin had faced someone with such profound cultivation. Not only did he have no confidence in victory, but a single misstep could doom him to death. Thus he decided to use a trick. Wang Lin once again displayed the giant palm seal, the colossal palm intent he had, previously used to intimidate Hongdai. However, this divine ability was merely an impressive shell, frightening in appearance but lacking any real destructive power. Yet even so, when the palm pressed downward toward Mo Lihai, the monster general's body could not help but tremble, as if that palm could annihilate all things in existence. In the end, the palm seal brushed past his body, not causing any harm, but still leaving him with the feeling of having survived a calamity. Mo Lihai even believed that within the entire land of monster spirits, only the monster emperor could withstand such a blow, thanks to this fake version of the Yiling Seal. Wang Lin successfully rescued 13 from Mo Lihai's hands. Later on, when Wang Lin's cultivation increased and he infused slaughter qi into this divine ability, the palm seal finally gained terrifying destructive power enough to completely crush opponents of the same realm. It wasn't until Wang Lin was gravely injured and on the verge of death while fighting over the Li Guang bow, then swallowed into the stomach of a nether beast, that he encountered the legendary Lian Daofei the Madman. Because Lian Daofei had long since fallen into insanity and lived in complete solitude, he desperately wanted someone to play with. So he used his own immortal ancestor bloodline to save the barely breathing Wang Lin, and even helped him attain the indestructible immortal body. However, with Wang Lin's cold and indifferent personality, he naturally had no intention of playing with a lunatic. To get rid of the madman's constant pestering, he summoned the black ape he had subdued in the past to accompany him instead. But this madman didn't follow any common logic. He actually started competing in divine abilities and Dao techniques with the monkey, and even directly used the Yiling Seal. The sight left Wang Lin utterly shocked. He immediately recognized that this was the authentic version of the Yiling Seal. The palm seal he had imitated in the past lacked distinct fingerprints, and because its power was far too overwhelming, it was difficult to control. In contrast, the palm seal cast by the madman had clear, vivid fingerprints seemingly alive, and contained an immense amount of heaven and earth origin force. Wang Lin instantly began deducing, analyzing every transformation and method of employing the technique. However, there were details he simply could not grasp without the true inherited incantation. Thus, Wang Lin deliberately provoked the madman. "I also know this technique, and its power is far greater than yours." The madman scoffed in disdain. Despite being foolish and insane, he knew very well that aside from his elder brother Lian Daozhan, absolutely no one could be stronger than him in this divine ability. But right after that, Wang Lin manifested a palm seal tens of thousands of zhang in size, smashing it into the ground and creating an enormous crater. He then told the madman that unless he used the Yiling seal to create a hole just as large, he would refuse to concede defeat. Unable to distinguish whether Wang Lin's Yiling seal was fake or real, the madman went utterly berserk, unleashing the technique again and again to produce a larger hole. After exhausting himself for an entire day, he barely managed to create one of similar size. At that moment, Wang Lin examined the crater, then pretended to sigh regretfully. "I never expected you to be so devious. Your final strike was clearly different from your first one." Hearing this, the madman panicked. He never expected his entire day of effort to be dismissed as trickery. In order to prove his innocence, he had no choice but to pass on to Wang Lin the true incantation for the Yiling seal. With the incantation learned from the madman, Wang Lin was finally able to perform the authentic Yiling seal. Wang Lin could clearly sense that this was no ordinary divine ability, but a Tao technique capable of destroying heaven and earth. If the Yiling seal were cultivated to its absolute limit, it could manifest 3 simultaneous palms, striking down to annihilate the opponent's spirit, body, and soul, one after another. Of course, Wang Lin also felt a deep sense of guilt for deceiving someone who was already insane. But throughout his entire cultivation journey, he had always been a man who distinguished in resentment with absolute clarity. Since the madman had shown him kindness today, Wang Lin swore that no matter what happened in the future, he would protect him. It was precisely because of this karmic bond formed on that day that the madman later returned to the immortal firmament continent, inherited the position of Lian Daozhan, and became the new immortal emperor. Later on, when Wang Lin acquired the inheritance of the heavenly ox soul armor on the immortal firmament continent, every divine ability he cast received a heaven-defying amplification, especially the Yiling seal when the 6th finger manifested. Some people immediately recognized that it was actually the legendary Great Dou Demon hand seal. This technique was the most secret, never-to-be-revealed art of the Tao Demon sect, a power that only the sect masters of each generation could grasp. No one could have imagined that it would appear in Wang Lin's hands, and according to the madman, the Yiling seal had originally been seized by immortal Emperor Lian Daozhan from the twin heavenly venerables. Any divine ability or Tao technique that caught the eye of a heavenly venerable was unquestionably extraordinary, especially when such a technique was brought down to a tiny place like the Cave Abode realm. Wang Lin's birthplace, it was without exaggeration a complete out-of-realm domination. If you enjoyed this, don't forget to like and subscribe. Your support inspires me to create even more amazing content.